I'll just make sure I'm recording just in case. Perfect. Okay, we are recording. So guys, I just wanted to say a big warm welcome to everyone. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Danica Tanya, and I am a qualified dietitian, and I'm the founder of the Institute for Health, and it is my absolute pleasure to come to you live and sort of hijack my personal Facebook page tonight. So hello Doris and Johnny, if you're watching this. My mother and father-in-law, love your work. My mum's actually not on Facebook, so she won't know any better. Hey Donna, nice to see you. So guys, this is a really important topic for me, but before I get started, I just want to introduce myself a little bit, give you a bit of a background if this is the first time that you're tuning in, or if we haven't connected for a little while. So I am a mother, a stepmom to a nearly 19-year-old, and I am the mother of a little girl who turns 3 next month. So 3 going on 13. I feel like I argue and talk to a tiny version of myself every single day, but it is a pleasure, and I feel very blessed. So we've got some people tuning in on Zoom. So hello and welcome to everyone on Zoom, and hello and welcome to everyone on Facebook. It is absolutely my privilege and pleasure to be with you tonight. So I have shipped the family out. I think they're off having dinner. It's just so you can have my uninterrupted attention for this next little bit of time. So I really wanted to share with you, hopefully my slides will work. So let me just have a crack here. Okay. And can you guys just give me a yes if you can see my screen? Here is the keynote. Okay, share. Can you guys see my screen? I might just load that up so that you can see it properly. And I might click on play. There we go. And I have some people telling me yes, that they can see it. Perfect. Just make sure, yep, okay, that's looking good. All right, so let's, without further ado, let's get into, I'm just going to move myself over here, just so, whoop, hang on. This is my first time doing this on a Mac, so it's a little bit different, but I yep, I think it all looks pretty good from as far as I can see. Rightio, so let's talk a little bit about shifting stubborn weight. So before I get started, I just wanted to ask, so give me a yes if this is something that is something that you have either had a challenge with yourself, or you're tuning into this because you help other people to, and you'd like to develop the tools and the skills to be able to help someone else move through their own plateaus or their own challenges. So if you'd like to comment below, this is a really interactive session. I've got some people commenting yes. So yeah, it's, and thank you again for your honesty. And I feel very vulnerable tonight as well. So let's just be open and honest with each other. And I know you'll get a lot out of this session. So yeah, lots of people saying yes. It's for themselves or for the people that they work with. All right, so now it is how do I go to the next one? Okay, there we go. So my question is to you, have you ever wondered why some weight can be really difficult to shift? And the truth is that, you know, we've got our healthy guidelines, our healthy eating guidelines that say to eat lots of variety and avoid gaining weight and exercise regularly. And it's all well and good knowing this and having the information. But sometimes, or a lot of the times as a dietitian, I see this in practice, they can be really difficult to actually put into practice, and there can be some challenges and some barriers to actually seeing success. So give me a yes if this is something that you've come up with before, if you're like, oh, but you know, and especially give me a yes if it's like you feel like you get your calories right and your exercise right, and there's still no change. So give me a yes if this is something that you've seen or you've had experience with. Yeah, lots of people commenting, yep, saying yes. Okay, great, so we're on track. So let's go through A couple of, I guess, a couple of reasons why this is the case. And the truth is that I often see people doing their very best to make good choices. They exercise regularly, they're consistent day in, day out, and they can have no change. And I guess I've just asked you that question, so we'll move on from that. But this is definitely the case that I see. And as a dietitian, for me, this is something that I'm really passionate about educating on. I love being able to troubleshoot. And you could almost say that I'm a little bit obsessed with it, because I really feel that it's calories in and calories out is only a very small part of the equation. All right. So tonight is really about sort of peeling back some of those barriers and helping you to identify what's getting in your way, or in the way of whoever you are coaching and supporting. Okay. And despite our best intentions, we often try to remedy this with strategies that can often make us feel worse. So we often punish ourselves with excessive exercise, or exercise that we don't actually enjoy. So give me a yes if that's you, if you feel like, yes, I have, and there is a difference between pushing yourself and challenging yourself and dragging yourself to do an exercise or an activity that you absolutely dislike. All right, so there's lots of people commenting there. We abuse ourselves with difficult meal plans and deny ourselves the pleasure of food and life. So give me a yes if you've been either guilty of this one, or maybe you know of someone who has done this before, where it's like, really restrictive eating, or just feeling like you can't enjoy a bit of chocolate, or you can't enjoy a bit of your favorite food. So give me a yes if it's you or someone that you know. We often seek therapies that never truly address the reasons why we struggle in the first place. So what I mean by that is that heartburn's a really good example. Yep, there's lots of people saying yes. So heartburn's a really good example of that we often try, and we will take antacids as a band-aid approach, but why is that heartburn or acidity happening in the first place? We need to take a deeper look at not just the symptoms, but the root cause. And that's something that I'm really, really passionate about, as you can probably hear. So before we dive in, I thought I'd start off with a little bit of true or false. So the best way to lose weight is to eat less and exercise more. So give me a yes, or you can pop in the comments, you can write true or false. Let me know what you think. Yep, lots of people saying it's false. Yep, really good. And I can see in the comments, yep, awesome, guys. So look, and if you said true, that's fine as well, because like I said, this is in part of the equation, but it's not the whole truth. Now we know that in a lot of cases, when we try and eat less and exercise more, we can really, really damage our lean tissue, which is our main metabolic driver. Okay, and I know some of you guys will already know this intuitively, but for some people, this is still quite an ingrained or conditioned kind of belief to achieving weight loss. And often with a lot of the, particularly the women that I work with, I definitely see that often what we're doing is we're increasing their food because they're actually in this kind of starvation mode. So a really, really key one, and it's really nice to see a lot of you guys are really on track there. So well done with that one. So true or false number 2, the reason why we eat, the reason that we overeat is a lack of willpower. So give me a true or false there. I'll give you a second to pop your answers in. Yep, okay. So a lot of people are saying false. Yep, this is absolutely true, as in you guys are right. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. So our willpower is often very strong, but a lot of the times it's the environment that we find ourselves in, the food that we have exposure to, and a number of other components like the emotions that we are dealing with if we're in a stress state. These are all things, the amount of sleep that we've had. There are so many parts to the overeating piece that I'm particularly passionate about, and it's not your lack of willpower. You've got a very strong willpower. You've got the desire to be healthy or or to help other people get to their achieve their goals. So it's not, no one wants to overeat. It's just that we have in this food environment, the brain that we have evolved, or that has evolved to help us survive in kind of when there was a relative lack of food, now doesn't really hold us in really great stead, because there's a lot the way and I could spend a whole other webinar talking about this. And if this is something that you're interested in, let me know, because I'm really passionate about this. And if we understand what are the trigger foods that drive us to overeat. So for example, things like sweet, salty, they're all the drivers. Umami, that savory taste. So things like soy sauce, it's why MSG is so, it can be so addictive, because it registers in the brain as an addictive type of food. And so our brain says, oh, that was good, do more of that, do that again. So you're absolutely right. You guys are on the right track. And it is not a lack of willpower. So let's have a look at true or false number 3. As long as we eat the right foods in the right amounts, we'll have good health and lose weight. So what do you think? So give me a true or a false. What do you think? Yep, a couple of people putting in their answers. Yep. Okay, so I can see some comments coming through on Facebook. All right, so now guys, the ones that answered false, you are correct again. Now, this is true to a point. So let me explain. Okay, so yes, absolutely, eating really nourishing foods, and there are specific times of the day where our metabolism does ebb and flow. So if we tap into that, absolutely, we can really master our health. We can master weight loss, and we can lose the weight. But even if you ate the most organic, free range, healthy food on the planet, if you ate that food in a stressed state, so so you were just shoveling that down, the way that our digestive force is completely different, and the way that we digest and absorb that nutrition is completely different. So, and again, I could spend another webinar on this, but bottom line is, it's not just what you eat and when you eat, but it's how you eat. Okay, so is this interesting? Is this stuff that's, I feel there's a really big gap, especially in nutrition teaching. We very much focus, we get really, really good at looking at calories in, calories out. Lots of people saying yes. Awesome, that's really good to know. Thanks guys. All right, fantastic. So as I promised, I want to share the 5 reasons that might explain why it can be difficult to lose weight and what to do about it. Okay, so let me explain. So let's talk about reason number 1. So reason number 1 is that you are stressed. Okay, now there should be no surprises here. We know that previous research has revealed that around 70% of us use food as a stress management strategy. All right, so no surprises there, right? We've also discovered that eating in a highly stressed state can make certain high fat, high sugar foods, hello biscuits and chocolate, much more appealing. Okay, and again, like I said, I could go on and on and on about how our brain responds to these foods, particularly when we're stressed or in the absence of sleep. We'll touch on that, but I'll save that for another day. Now, these foods I just mentioned, so things like chips, chocolate, it happens to be a lot of the foods that start with ch, right? So chips, cheese, chocolate, champagne, right? They're not called comfort foods for nothing. There is good evidence to suggest that eating these foods may actually lower our production of cortisol, which is the main stress hormone. But now we know that poor food choices can actually have a bigger and much worse impact on our weight than if we ate them in a non-stressed state. Okay, so how to navigate this, because this tonight was going to be all about practical strategies. So number 1, be especially mindful of your food choices when you're stressed, and be aware that poorer food choices will be much more tempting when you're stressed. Okay, so if you're in a particularly stressful situation, just kind of keep that sort of up your sleeve, right? Ideally, you want to take all of your meal breaks away from distractions and make an effort to breathe deeply during the meal. And you want to look for ways to combat chronic stress. And easy for me to say, I know, right? But this is at the core of it. This is something that is really important. So whether it's daily meditation, whether it's a naturopathic stress tonic, for those of you guys who know about ionics, this is something that we can really help to support the way that our body responds to stress, okay? Or things like nourishing exercise, like a walk in nature. And apparently, I have it on good record that, and there's some new research coming out, although not that you need research to prove this, but spending around 20 minutes each day in nature, particularly with your feet are actually physically on the ground, so no shoes and bare feet. There is a lot of science to support how you disconnect, or you're removing a lot of the negative charge, and kind of reconnecting literally with nature. So take it or leave it. I definitely know that me and my daughter will take every opportunity to go and run around on the grass barefoot. She actually asked me, she's like, can I take my shoes off? I'm like, go for it. So here's what I want you to reflect on tonight for this piece, okay? So do you think that stress could be contributing to your weight loss challenges, or someone you know? So give me a yes if you think that stress is the case for you or someone that you know. Yep, there's a few people being very brave and sharing that with me. Thank you so much. And what could you do starting from tomorrow that could help you to reduce this and or support better eating habits? All right. Is it going to be, taking Ionics every day? Is it going to be maybe taking 20 minutes of time out and, heading outside? So you can pop it in the chat, or you can just kind of do a bit of inner reflection, or you might like to write it down and make that commitment to yourself. Okay. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for your participation. I absolutely love it. Okay, so let's talk about reason number 2. You may not be eating enough protein. All right, so previous research suggested that diets that are low in protein lead us to overeat. Okay, so there was a 2011 study that showed that people who ate 10% of protein compared to those who ate 15% consumed a whopping 1,000 calories, an extra 1,000 calories per day, because they were more hungry. So that's a huge, huge difference. That's 1,000 calories per day more, just because their protein was not high enough. Okay, and one theory to explain this is called the protein leverage hypothesis. All right, so when you eat more carbohydrate and fat, your brain keeps sending signals to encourage you to eat enough until you've met your protein target. So that's one school of thought. Another possibility is that protein by actual weight is heavier than most carbohydrates and fats. And because we register fullness in 2 ways, we register fullness by physical weight in our stomach, and then hormonal triggers, particularly that come from foods like proteins, will then tell our brain that we're fuller for longer. That may be why protein keeps us fuller over the long term. Now, new research shows that if weight loss is your goal, you need to go beyond the adequate protein amounts. I actually just did a team call for Rose and her guys, and we were talking about going beyond. So the dietary the NRV for protein, so the nutrient reference value, or the recommended dietary intake for protein for healthy adults, is about 0.75 grams per kilo of body weight. Now, just to put that into what this looks like, say for a 60 kilogram adult, this would be around, say, 50 or I think it's like 48 grams of protein. So if you're having a nourishing isolane shake, that would be 2 shakes and you're absolutely done with your protein requirements. Okay, but we know that eating that amount is there to prevent deficiency. It's not there to encourage a really strong metabolism, and it's not there to prevent feeling hungry in between meals, or for maximum meal satiety, right? So we know that eating around 1.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight will help to manage your appetite and preserve muscle tissue that can be lost in weight loss attempts, that's not a good thing. Okay, so if you want to write that down, so it's 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body or body weight. So for example, if it's 75 kilos, if you weigh 75 kilos, you'd be looking to eat about 90 grams of protein per day. Okay, so you can do the calculations for yourself. And the idea is to eat around 20 to 40 grams of protein per meal. And this stems from the research of the protein pacing concept by our incredible friend and researcher, Dr. Paul Arciero. So this could look like, say, 1 tin of tuna with the oil drain is around 21 grams of protein. 2 large eggs is 15 grams of protein. As I mentioned, an isoline shake would be, or an equivalent would be about 24 to 36 grams of protein, depending which one you choose. 100 grams of cooked chicken breast is around 32 grams of protein. And if you're vegetarian or vegan and you're looking for plant-based sources, 100 grams of chickpeas is around 8 grams of protein. So you do have to work a little bit harder if you're choosing vegan and vegetarian options. It needs to be a really well-planned meal, but you can still meet your protein requirements that way. So on this topic, so here's what I want you to reflect on, and I want you to answer the following questions. Number 1, do you think you eat enough protein? Give me a yes or a no. And if you're not sure, you can take the numbers that I've just given you and you can enter it on something like MyFitnessPal, that kind of app. You can enter it on or the IsoLife app, and to really be able to track your protein intake and really get a snapshot of that. What could you do from tomorrow that could help you to elevate the protein that you eat each meal? Okay, so think about what are you going to do that's going to help you achieve better protein pacing. Okay, if you'd like to put in the chat box, great. But if you'd like to write that down for yourself, even better. All right. I was just pausing there because I thought I could hear the car, but it's okay. We've still got time. So has this been useful so far? Do you think this is something that could really help you to either yourself or people that you're working with? Awesome. Yeah, lots of people saying yes. Brilliant. All right. And lots of people saying yes on Facebook. Thanks, guys. All right. Let's move on to number 3. So reason number 3 is that there can be a gut-brain disconnect. Okay. So have you ever made yourself something to eat, sat down to eat it, and then ate it so quickly that you didn't even realize that you'd finished? All right, and I had this moment not long ago with 2 bits of toast. All right, so I was reading something while I ate it. I think I was flicking through like the weekend newspaper, and I absently went to pick up the second piece of toast, and it was gone. I didn't even realize that I'd eaten it. So of course I had to get up and make another piece of toast because I'd really missed the enjoyment. And I was like, can't believe that I ate it without registering it. So has this ever happened to you? Have you eaten something and then not even realized or registered? Yep, people are saying yes. Okay, good. Glad it's not just me. And it often happens when we are eating distracted. Okay, and this is what we call the gut-brain disconnect. So our brain needs to eat just as much as our stomachs do. And this is why it's so important to remove all distractions and really savor what you eat as you eat it. And especially if you're doing smoothies. Smoothies are fantastic, but they're also they're so super quick and easy to just eat on the go. And it's, I have to stop myself from doing this. This is why smoothie bowls can be a really great idea, because you actually have to physically kind of sit down and slow down to eat them with a spoon. But, hands up or give me a yes if you're guilty of maybe having one on the way to maybe taking the kids to school, or a quick lunch at the office and not really sitting down to savor it. I know I've been guilty. I'm not perfect in any way. It's just these are things that I know can really make an impact on how full we feel. Lots of people saying yes. Okay, glad it's not just me. All right. So now, look, as a parent of a nearly 3-year-old, I get it. Kids are a distraction, especially when you're trying to get them to eat and then trying to get food in your mouth. But there's not much we can do about that. So do your best. But find a few moments to connect with what you're eating. Okay, so slow down, take a few deep breaths, notice the aroma of the food, the subtle tastes, the gratitude for the food that you have in front of you. Remove all distractions. It's really easy to be on your phone and checking and staying connected. It's okay to disconnect for a couple of minutes while you eat your food and the food that's in front of you. This also includes no more eating at the computer, no more scoffing lunch at your desk, or working through that bag of almonds at your desk as well. So if you can get outside to eat and spend a little bit longer enjoying your food, this is really key. And really doing this is going to give your sort of your brain and your stomach time to communicate with each other, and it's really going to result in better meal satiety. So how full you feel after a meal. It'll bring in more oxygen, which is really going to help you to maximize the calories that you are burning for that meal. It makes a huge difference. And there are some breathing techniques, but we won't go into that tonight. So here's what I want you to reflect on tonight. Do you think that your gut and brain need some more time to talk to each other? And could this be part of your challenge right now, or someone that you're working with? So give me a yes if you think this is something that could be important for you. And what could you do from tomorrow that could help you increase the time and awareness that you bring to your meals? Okay, lots of people saying yes, that this is the case for them. Thanks again, guys. Love hearing from you. All right, so moving on to reason number 4, because I did promise I was going to be about half an hour, but as always, I always find lots more to talk about. So let me explain a little bit more about this one. So your gut environment isn't switched on for weight loss, okay? So from past research, we've come to learn that there is a link between body weight and gut health, okay? And we've also learned that people who were genetically predisposed to fostering certain types of gut bacteria were more likely to maintain a healthier weight. However, we now know that regardless of your genes, there are things that you can do to shift your gut environment and the bacterial colonies that reside. This is going to be really, really important for your weight loss efforts and can really make a huge difference. And this new understanding comes out of a 2018 study that pinpointed key dietary changes as an effective way to shift our gut bacteria into weight loss mode. So a really big part here. So you can get your gut, let me try that again. You can get your gut into weight loss mode by doing a couple of things. So number 1, eat plenty of those foods that we refer to as prebiotics. So they feed and nourish your gut bacteria. So these include things like onion, garlic, fennel, corn, legumes, and surprisingly things like cooked then cooled potatoes, like you might eat in, say, like a potato salad. You also want to eat foods that provide a source of probiotics, the healthy bacteria that can really help to shape your gut environment to support better digestion and better metabolism as well. And these are foods like natural yogurt, kefir, kombucha, fermented vegetables like kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, especially homemade pickles. That's where a lot of those powerful probiotics reside. Or, if you're not naturally inclined to include those kind of foods, you might want to consider a probiotic, and look for a probiotic that has at least 10 billion microbes per gram. Okay, that's a really important thing to look for. Okay, so again, talking about reason number 4, a couple of things to reconsider. So do you think that your gut environment could do with a little makeover? Or do you think this could be something that you could include in some of your coaching practices yourself? All right, so give me a yes if this is something that you definitely think needs a little bit of work. Yep, there's some people saying yes there, and I can see some people commenting on Facebook. Awesome. And what could you do from tomorrow that could help you shift your gut into weight loss mode? All right, so you can pop your answers there if you'd like to stay accountable to yourself, or you can write them down and start implementing them as you go through. All right, now coming up to the last reason, because I did say we were talking about the 5 top reasons. So reason number 5, surprise, surprise, you're exhausted. So you probably knew that a lack of sleep leads us to eat a lot more the following day. And for all of those new parents, yes, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I still have a toddler that, a nearly 3-year-old that still wakes up through the night. So I really am hearing you when we're talking about quality sleep and lack of sleep. There was a 2012 study that found that a bad night's sleep can lead us to eat an extra 450 calories the next day. Okay, and that can make the difference between losing weight, maintaining weight, or even potentially gaining weight, because the best way to gain weight is to eat an extra 500 calories per day. All right, and there's some few people saying, yep, that's me. You might also know from firsthand experience that even if you avoid eating more when you're tired, the quality and quantity of sleep affects your weight loss regardless of what you eat or what you don't eat, and it all has to do with metabolic rhythms and being able to function at basically at an optimal rate. Okay, and there was a 2010 study that found that people following a strict diet might lose the same amount of weight regardless of how well rested they were, but those who are sleep deprived had around 55% less actual fat loss. So they were starting to eat into their lean tissue, which is not absolutely is a bad news when it comes to maintaining your weight and that all important resting metabolic rate, which burns calories at a higher rate. If you've got a really strong metabolic rate, you're going to burn calories more around the clock 24/7, no matter what you're doing. Okay, so really, really key finding there. And what's more is that while day-to-day tiredness plays a role in weight loss, we now know that sleep consistency does too. So this is, so actually give me a yes here if you are someone who, and I'm very guilty of this as well, so like I said, not perfect. Give me a yes if you are someone who you might say, I'm going to do an all-nighter, or I'm going to smash out some work late at night, a couple of nights a week, and then I'll catch up, on the weekend, or I'll catch up another time. All right. This is where it starts to really affect our metabolism and our ability to maximize that weight loss. Okay, and results from a study published this year showed that people who slept for the same number of hours every night lost more weight than those whose sleep varied from night to night, despite eating the same healthy diet. Okay, so what does all of this mean? Let me boil it down in some really simple take-home facts. Number one, you need to aim for roughly the same number of hours of sleep each night, rather than thinking you can shortchange yourself one night and kind of catch up the next night. And sorry to the parents of young kids, because we're screwed here, okay? Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. That's kind of the sweet spot. A 2009 study found that 6 hours or less of sleep is too little, but 7 to 9 hours is just right. Reduce blue light emitting devices that are close to bedtime. This can affect your melatonin, that sleep hormone production, and it can affect the quality of your sleep. So it's pretty simple to do. Things like you can switch your phone and your computer to night shift mode, or like take away the blue light, and you can actually set it so it happens automatically. So usually I set mine to go into night shift mode at about 8 o'clock at night. So we start to remove that blue light. I know there's also glasses that you can get that filter out blue light, but take it or leave it. I really like that that function as well. And it's avoid that late night TV watching as well, especially if you tend to be really wired, and if you find it really hard to get to sleep. And of course, things like avoid caffeinated beverages close to bedtime if you think you might be a little bit caffeine sensitive, or if I said before, you're having trouble switching off at night. Okay, so this includes things like chocolate, green tea, black tea, cola drinks, and of course coffee. Okay, so just think about if some of those are creeping in. It could be causing you not to have a good sleep. Okay, and the last point is avoid late night eating if you can, as this can affect your natural circadian rhythms. And what it does is it sort of forces your body to be in digesting mode rather than sleeping mode. Okay, so last questions for you tonight, and that is, I want you to think about, do you think that sleep deprivation could be contributing, or your sleep consistency, probably more like, could be contributing to your weight loss challenges, or to someone that you're working with? And what could you do from tomorrow that could help, or tonight even? What could you do from tonight? Yep, there's lots of people saying yes. What could you do from tonight that could help you produce or get a better sleep quality? All right. So there you have it. As I promised, the 5 reasons why losing weight can be a challenge. Can be a challenge for some of us. So give me a yes if this has been valuable tonight. We've had lots of comments. We've had lots of people being vulnerable and sharing. So thank you again. Yep, lots of comments coming through. Thank you so much. And what I'd love to hear from you, because I love learning on the go. What did you learn tonight that might, even if it was just one thing, what is it that might shift things for you or for the people that you coach and support? So let me know what that is. All right, I'll give you a few minutes to pop that in. I'm going to stop sharing there so you can see my face. Hopefully, I can zoom up. There we go. Oh, crap. Hang on. There we go. All right, I'm just going to shut this down. Perfect. Okay. So I can see, yep, lots of tips. Yep, very valuable. The gut-brain disconnect and getting enough protein. Oh, and sleep, says Donna. Yep, protein per kilo. Yep, awesome, Kat. Eating on the go, stress impact, more protein. Brilliant, Emma. Some really, really good, great feedback. Inconsistent sleep nights don't add up. Yes. I think that's Maxine. Establishing a routine that incorporates some flexibility. Yep. Amazing takeaways, guys. Oh, you were listening on point. Really, really proud. Awesome. All right. So now a couple of things that I wanted to share with you tonight. So number one is that were you, Siobhan says, Danny, were you speaking to me about me tonight? I possibly was, Siobhan. I'm glad that it was hitting the spot. Kirsten says, sorry, for me, key learnings, trying to keep a regular sleep pattern, the gut-brain connect, slowing down, yep, and deeper breathing when eating. Amazing takeaways, Kirsten, really, really great listening. So the last thing I want to finish with, guys, tonight is, and I'm so grateful for your participation. I've been working on a brand new transformation program, and that it's been really designed to help particularly women to break through the rut and start seeing results again. And it's really about allowing me to work with a very small group of women that really need a little bit of specialist coaching and specialist help. It's also been designed, this program has also been designed to those of you, that's what I'm trying to say, I've been rushing and trying to get through this as much as possible. I'll slow down, take a few deep breaths myself, take my own advice. It will also be really beneficial if you're interested in having a couple of extra, I guess, tools and skills up your sleeve that you're able to pull out when you are coaching someone who's facing some weight loss challenges. Because for me, it's all about empowering you guys to be able to go forth and do incredible things as well. So if you're considering working with me or wondering if you might qualify for the program, I'm going to pop a link in the chat box, and I'll also pop it in the comment section as soon as we get off this video, and you can chat to me that way. And or you can also just reach out to me if you want to send me a private message or DM me on Instagram. I'm always here to chat to you guys and support you all. So now let me just pop that link. Give me 2 seconds. Deborah says, oh, she said she's always eager to learn new tips and skills to help cleansers. Absolutely, Deb. This is one of the things that I'm super passionate about, and I want to help you guys even more. So the link I'm going to post here, so it will go to the Institute for Health, and if you want to have a chat to me there, just let me know what you're interested in working in learning, whether it's for yourself or whether it's for someone, or for the cleansers or the customers that you're coaching. So there's the link there. I've just popped it in the chat. Like I said, I'll pop that in as soon as we get off the of the webinar. And I do have a special gift for those of you who, just for showing up and for giving me your time. I hope it's been worth the investment, because time is like the most precious thing that we never get back once we give it. So I'm so grateful for your time. I've got some of you guys may have this already. But I'd really like to share a resource. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Plateau Busting. Okay, and it goes a little bit further than what we talked about tonight, but it can really be a really great resource for helping you to identify maybe some barriers that may be getting in the way of helping your cleansers or your customers. Okay, so I'm going to pop the link here. That'll send directly to your messenger as well. I've just popped it in the chat here on Zoom. As I said, I'll also pop it in the comments as soon as we get off. So guys, thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm glad that there was a lot of takeaways that you guys are gonna be able to take away with you and implement. So I hope you've really enjoyed tonight. It's been my pleasure hosting this evening. It's over and out for me tonight. And have a great rest of the week. And I can't wait to hear from some of you and work with you more closely in the near future. Bye for now, everyone. Thanks so much, guys. Bye again.